What's up, guys? Dante here, back giving you another Dramascripted Saturday. How we start off on every Dramascripted Saturday, we are going to go with the ratings, and we have Raw with 1.82 million. We have AEW with 762,000, and yet we have NXT with 551,000 views. So those are your views for this week and wrestling. So we're going to go into some small notable details about both Raw and SmackDown. We're going to go with The Miz declared himself for the Royal Rumble, which is weird because he has the Money in the Bank briefcase, so why would he need to win the Royal Rumble? And then Jey Uso, this last night on SmackDown, he declared himself for the Royal Rumble and even chose that he's going to go against, as he calls him, Oldberg or Drew McIntyre. So I guess the Roman family or Roman council or whatever they want to call this two-man stable, they'll have full control of both shows, which is very, very interesting. I would actually like to see that happen. I would actually like to see how that would play out if Jay is running Raw and the big dog is running SmackDown, which would be very, very, very interesting. Few notable things that happened on AEW. I just want to go over the Brian Cage, the Machine, versus Darby Allin match, which was a very, very great match. It was like, big guy versus little guy. You can't always just have the obvious. You can't have the big guy win. And there was some interference from Ricky Starks, who's really, more and more that I look at it, he really is looking like a more and more knockoff-ish version of The Rock. He's looking like The Rock from Wish right now, because like he had the shirt and he had the shiny pants and he had the slippers on, so it was like Rock from like late 90s style, and he has the haircut, so like he really is starting to look like The Rock. So as Ricky Starks was getting involved, lights go out, and yet again it's the Icon Sting to save Darby Allin, and then Darby Allin retains the AEW TNT title. So I'm assuming the theme here in AEW, it seems all the legends that they've brought in are just gonna manage some of the younger talent. Like Jake the Snake has Lance Archer, Arn Anderson has Cody, even though in retrospect Cody really doesn't need anyone. Blanchard has FTR, and now we have the Icon with Darby. Oh, we have Matt with the other tag team. So which their contract that they're signing is still Private Party. Their contract that he signed with Private Party is still all in Matt's favor, and I guess this is going to lead to a match or somewhere down the line where that contract is going to get broken up and it's going to turn Matt heel and make Private Party face. But with all of that out the way, Marty Scurll still doesn't have a place. He's still a free agent. And now there's talk to see if Marty can't find a job over at Stateside, he may go back over to UK. But I have a strong feeling that, like I said, I still have the strong feeling that he's just going to sign with his friends at AEW. And who knows, maybe he may show up at Hard to Kill. And speaking about Hard to Kill, we are going to go over my predictions for tonight's pay-per-view, Impact Hard to Kill. So there's 9 matches on the card. So let's go. All right, with the first match on the preview show, it is going to be Myers versus Josh. So I'm going to go with Myers because I'm a big, as we all know, Myers is from Queens. I'm from Queens. So I'm going to go with Myers. That's going to kick off the pre-show. It's going to be probably a slow-paced technical match, but I don't expect that match to really, really, really last that long. Probably in between the 8 to 12 minute mark, but I'm going to go with Kurt Hawkins, who's now Myers. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kurt Hawkins, repping Queens, orange and blue. I'm going to go with him winning the pre-show match. So the next, Rosemary and Crazy Steve versus Emma and Khalif with a K. That's his full name. I'm going to go with Crazy Steve and Rosemary because, Crazy Steve and Rosemary had a past storylines, relationships, so they would have more chemistry in this intergender match. So I'm gonna go with those two winning that match, and we're gonna go into the next match. Match is Eddie Edwards and Sandy Callahan in a barbed wire match. The last time I saw a barbed wire match was in which was in AEW. That was Jon Moxley versus the Bad Boy. That was the last somewhat barbed wire-ish match, and it wasn't even a barbed wire match. It's just that barbed wires was involved. This is called the Barbed Wire Massacre match. So I don't know if they're gonna have it where the barbed wire is on, you know, the ring ropes, like wrapped around the ring ropes, or is just gonna be barbed wires everywhere, barbed wires outside. I'm taking Eddie Edwards on this match. I'm just gonna say Eddie Edwards is gonna survive yet another brutal stipulation match that he always seems to get dragged into on Impact, which I'm noticing. And yet always out of nowhere, he always magically comes through and pulls out. The next match, we have a 6-man match with Eric Young, Joe, and Deonna versus Cousin Jake, Rhino, and Tommy Dreamer, and basically a no disqualification, old-fashioned 6-man. I'm gonna go with Eric Young's team because the other team is basically ECW, and I was like, I don't see the need for basically team ECW to bury younger talent. If you guys know me by now, it should always be that the older talent puts over the newer talent. So I'm gonna go with Eric Young's team winning in that match. We have Deonna versus Valkyrie for your Knockouts Women's title. I'm gonna go with Valkyrie finally retaining her Knockouts Women's Championship. This should be probably, I'm gonna say, the third best match on the card, and it's for the women's knockout title on Impact. That should be a very, very exciting match. I'm gonna go with that's gonna be the third best match on the card. It's gonna be Malik versus Chris versus Rio, a triple threat match for the X Division title. Here's where one thing Impact shines at. I have not witnessed a horrible triple threat X Division title championship match. All of the pay-per-view X Division triple threat matches are always good, and this one should not disappoint as well. But I'm gonna go with Malik. I'm gonna go with Malik retaining the finals for the Knockout Tag Team Women's Championship. It's going to be Havoc and Nevada versus Hogan and Steels. Now, I really wanted Jordynne Grace and Jazz to win the knockout tournament thing, but they surprisingly, Jordynne Grace and Jazz got eliminated by Havoc in the previous round. I know probably everyone was rooting for Jordynne Grace and Jazz, because as of now, in my opinion, I think Jordynne Grace is the best knockout that the Impact Wrestling has. But they've lost to Havoc in the previous round, but now I'm going for Hogan and Steels to win the tournament at Impact and to be the next, both Hogan and Steels to be the next Knockout Impact Knockouts champion tag team title. Now we're on to the main event, which is probably the selling point of this pay-per-view, the main thing that everyone wants to see. It is going to be Rich Swann, Chris, and Alex Shelby got replaced by Moose by last second, versus Kenny Omega, AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. The match that everyone's been talking about, this match has 2-month build, both evaded everyone else's shows. I don't know what's going to happen in this match. This match is going to be outrageous. You don't know if the Young Bucks are going to get involved. You don't know if someone else from Impact is going to get involved. You don't know if Tony Khan's going to show up. We already know Doc is going to be at ringside. Doc Callis is going to be at ringside. So anything can happen in this match. We may get a surprise angle. Who knows? Maybe I'm just fantasy booking here. Maybe Marty Scurll shows up, and this is how we know Marty Scurll signs to AEW. Anything could literally happen, but I do not see AEW partnering themselves with Impact Wrestling and having their guy and their newly crowned champion, Kenny Omega, lose. So I'm going to go with Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers somehow in some way, obviously not in a clean fashion. They beat Rich Swann, Chris, and Moose in the main event of Hard to Kill. So there you go. Those were your Hard to Kill predictions, and this was this week's Dramascripted Saturday. If you like what you have witnessed, please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back for next Saturday for another Dramascripted Saturday. And I'm out of here, guys. Later and peace.